All right. How are you getting on? You well? Baka? You well? Baka? How's things? The reason I'm becoming a chicken at the top of this episode is because I'm in a Fowler poultry. I'm a poultry fowl bird. I'm in a Fowler. You can call me Robbie because I'm in a Fowler. You can call me Zinedine Zidane's head because I'm getting a red card because of Fowler. Eric Cantona's foot would also be a Fowler. I'm in a Fowler. I'm in a bad mood. Just one of those days when you become Cher trying to do an impression of Fred Durst. You know what I mean? I'm just not in a good mood this morning. And let me tell you about last night. Last night, we were watching the Woodstock 99 documentary. More on that in a bit. I was meal prepping. I made about 2 fucking kilos of rice, mate. 2 kilos of rice. And 6 chicken thighs. And a load of broccoli and all this shit. And I'm like, that's my meal prep for the week. And then I was also writing down a list of all the podcasts I'm going to do. It was a very busy month for me. Got a couple of live shows that are actually on sale today. Check it out. And the Workman's on the 12th of October. That's going to be some good crack. I will be giving away. You will know the guest list. I'm recording this a little bit in advance, but you will know the guest list today. And also in Cork, in Cypress Avenue, on the 20th of October of this month. So we got those 2 live shows. Very excited about it on the road. And then that'll be it for a little while I take a bit of paternity leave. So I also have to backlog a lot of podcasts, and I'm excited about doing that. Some of them are going to be mixed live. A few live obligations that are going to be mixed in with that. And then also there's going to be, a few guests coming in. And so I got a lot to do. And I planned all my podcasts last night. Very exciting time. Got my ducks in a row. And then this morning I woke up and I was like, kind of Fred Durst, kind of Jaws kind of vibe. Not in a good form. And it's a hard job to do when you don't want to talk to anyone today. I don't want to talk to anyone else today. I don't like myself right now. I feel like a waste of space. I was looking at a TikTok today, and it was a chef just chopping some scallions, and I was like, look at the way he's chopping. He was camping, chopping some scallions, and I'm like, that looks like a sort of guy who seems like he has his fucking life together, not like me. I literally spent 3 hours last night meal prepping and getting everything in order. But today, feel like a poop. Feel like on the Bristol scale, kind of a watery 5, a poop. So I'm not in a good form now, and I feel like I can't do it, and then I feel obsolete and invisible and a drain on people. That's what I feel like right now. Just today. Tomorrow will be a different story, So I don't know what. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a great podcast that I've also wasted about 3 hours trying to figure out if I can do it in video form, because I didn't go into the studio today. I didn't go into the wonderful podcast studios there in McGuinness Place, operated by the Head Stuff Podcast Network. I didn't go in there today to record a podcast, even though I booked in time. And then I was like, a fucking, you can call me the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate. You can put me on top of a fucking 99, mate. You can go into Teddy's, mate, and stick me in a cone, because I was a flake today. Only the crumbliest, flakiest Cantwell would do such a thing. Book in studio time and then not show up. So, whatever. Hey, okay. The A to Z of compliments about myself. Okay, A, you've actually got a great arse, Tony. Your wife has said it, and it's actually because I have a weird gait and I don't carry things a lot in my arms. I actually have surprisingly strong legs. And I used to think I had a fat arse. I actually have a pretty good toned arse. So there we go. B, you can take a bra off with one hand. C, cats are very attracted to you. People seem to think it's the other way around. I'm attracted to cartoon cats, but cats have a weird attraction to me, and I feel like that's some sort of otherworld intelligence that they're aware that I know, that maybe I haven't tapped into yet fully, because I've had a lot of cats flirt with me, present themselves to me. I don't want it, but I have it, and that's a weird thing about me. That's C. D, I'm an incredible dancer. I have a shocking amount of fluidity in my hips and my knees. I look like a weird kind of amphibious spaghetti on the dance floor, and a lot of people have complimented my dancing. E, eggs. You make a good scramble. I make a pretty good soft scramble, and I can do it pretty fast. And I've been complimented by it. And I actually think that shows a level of intelligence, again, beyond my means, because I only started actually getting into eggs in the last 5 years, and I do a very good soft scramble. And it tastes pretty good on toast. Here's the secret: aromat. All right, F, flame. If you have a lighter and you think it's out of gas, you give it to me. I promise you I can get a flame out of it. I will get the last dregs out of a flame. I can somehow get the last dregs out of a flame, and if you've got a pipe that is kind of compacted with hash and you don't have any hash, I can get high off that pipe. It's my go-to parlour trick. Me and my friends call ourselves the Parlour Boys for a summer, while our girlfriends all went off to the Edinburgh Fringe and had the life that an 18-year-old or 19-year-old should have by working in a cafe, going out all night, partying, doing all that. We, for some reason, didn't go with them and instead spent the summer in my mate Dan's shed, lighting stuff on fire. Still the greatest summer of my life. And my parlour trick was to essentially summon hash from a pipe that had no hash remaining in the pipe. That's probably my greatest skill. All right, moving on. G, I'm a gangster. No, I can play the guitar. And you know what? I taught myself the guitar. I know I'm talking about that recently, but I think that's impressive. And I've been walking around fucking looking at me heels, looking at me shoes, looking at the back of my feet, thinking that, I'm sure the guitar. But I actually taught myself the guitar, bro, right? Me and my little caveman brain. And that's another thing, right? People always say stuff like, if a caveman had to live now, they could integrate into society because it's the same sort of brain. So, keep that in mind when you're feeling a bit stressed about the amount of inputs and outputs and social media and all the places that are vying for your attention all at once. And the fact that you can kind of handle that is amazing because you got a caveman brain. But also, I taught myself fucking guitar with a caveman brain. I didn't teach myself guitar I had the internet helped. But still, for the most part, there was a caveman teaching another caveman how to play the guitar. If you heard that two cavemen were thawed out of the earth, mate, out of ice, and one of them, having no experience of playing the guitar, taught another man how to play the guitar just by using the internet. That's amazing. Well, I did that. Well, actually, I'm actually going to stop you there. This is not a Ripley's, believe it or not. This is a story of Tony Cantwell from ages 12 up to 35. 35 this month. Yeah, okay. So this is not a Ripley's, believe it or not. This is actually something that happened with one man. So if anyone asks me, do I play the guitar? I'm going to be like, yeah, I play the guitar. I mean, I'm not going to... Actually, I'm not going to say that shit. Do you play the guitar? Yeah, but not very well. Because some people even do go as far as you ask them, can they play the guitar? And they say, no. They lie. They lie to your face. Even though they've done 8 years of guitar lessons. Even though when you leave them alone for about 5 minutes with that guitar in the room, they're going to be playing fucking Sultans of Swing in a second. The man was blowing Dixie, double 4 time. That's how you said you couldn't play the guitar. Oh, no, well, I'm fucking you. Liars. So G, I can play the guitar. Hey, G, I guess I can play the guitar. H, from Steps, also known as Ian Watkins. I have nice hair. I have nice hair, and I like my hair. I like seeing my hair. Sometimes I look in the mirror when my hair is down, and I'm like, this is a pretty sexy dude. Other times I'm like, this is annoying. It's on my neck, and I'm too warm. Other times I'm like, oh, it's frizzy. It looks a mess. I think I need to make my hair work for me a little bit better, but that's my own internal struggle I need to deal with. But H, I've got nice hair. I from Steps. Ian Watkins. It's not funny, guys. It's just so unfortunate. I think my greatest fear is that someday I'll wake up and to the news, my phone will be blowing up, and I'll be like, just some fucking serial sex pest, also called Tony Cantwell, has done something so despicable. He's taken the name globally as one of the most evil men who's ever lived. Anyway, moving on. I come up with a lot of ideas, and I like coming up with ideas. Idea generation is probably the greatest, career joy that I have, and I'm so fucking blessed that I get to just sit there sometimes on a Monday and think, what am I going to do? And come up with ideas. It really fills me with a lot of joy, because there's a moment, there's a spark, there's a flash bulb goes off in your head, and you see the thing exactly as it's supposed to be, whether it's doing a fake Eurovision, whether it's a cartoon idea for a TV show, or whether it's a movie or a sketch, or even just a podcast topic, a tournament that you're going to do, and it just flashes in your head for a second. And there's some things, like Songs will flash. I'll never be able to pull that off. I'm just not gifted enough musically to be able to figure that out. A podcast idea, I can get it pretty close to exactly how I had it in my head. Sketch is about 60% of the way there. When it's actually writing a script, it's like 30% of the way there. So there's kind of like things. It's all about just improving skills over time so that you can actually get that flashbulb to look exactly in real life, tangibly, the way you had it in your head. And a huge part of that actually is getting help from other people who know far more than you do. So ideas. I love coming up with ideas, and I think I'm good at coming up with ideas. Here's a little bonus eye for you. I'm impulsive, and I like that about me sometimes. Not when I'm like, 6 pints deep on the way back, trying to figure out if there's a Chinese open that I can tell this Free Now driver to turn around to, right? Not that kind of impulsive, but kind of impulsive where I come up with something and all of a sudden this idea is the golden idea that trounces all the other ideas and skips up the priority list, and then all of a sudden I'm texting people being like, how can we do this now? That's one of the greatest joys. And I didn't finish the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but taking actionable steps on something was like maybe 1 or 2. And I like that my kind of impulsiveness allows me sometimes to take actionable steps. All right, Jay. Justice. I have a very strong sense of justice. No, I like writing shit jokes. I like writing Christmas cracker jokes. I think there's such a joy in a bad joke. And it's all about the lean in to such a fucking bad joke. I also like that as a practice, writing bad jokes, because there's kind of the responsibility and the pressure is off you. So I think I'm pretty good at writing Christmas cracker jokes. HIJK. Look, I'm kind. Yeah, kind of a dickhead. No, I am kind. I have a kind face and kind eyes. He had a kind face. No, I can be a bit self-serving sometimes, but I think and I don't always try to see the best in people. But I think I'm kind, and I think I'm compassionate. And kind is one of those attributes that isn't very important or attractive when you're like 17. Yeah, he's very kind, not very hot. But when you're like 50 and you're still single, and someone else is still single, kindness is like in terms of the hot scale. I just want a kind man, or woman, or an envy, So I think I'm kind. Yeah, kind of a fucking right. Thank you very much. I'm actually not feeling better at all. I'm going to keep going. Okay. What else? L. Lick-Out Master, as you know. I have it on my car and everything like that. So Lick-Out Master through and through. M. I tell you what I'm very good at. Making big fucking massive balloon animal hats. I bet you didn't think I was going to say that, but I'm actually incredible at making massive balloon animal hats. And I haven't done it in a while. I mean, making massive, like, bird of paradise, trying to attract a mate, elaborate cockatoo head hats. I'm incredible at making them. Or rather, I have identified it is a thing that absolutely sparks pure joy in me, that I love doing it. Which is as good as being good at something. Speaking of being good at stuff, N, right? N is a novice. I love being a novice these days. Beforehand, I've talked about this. I've talked about it in the previous pod. These kind of identity pillars where sometimes you view yourself as kind of good at something. I take a huge amount of, comfort in being an absolute novice in something and having someone who knows far more about it to educate me in it. I'm not stubborn about it. I'm not really not anymore where I'm like, I should know how to do this and getting wound up that I can't. I derive a great amount of pleasure in learning and having someone tell me how to do something, and incremental small change and the kind of mentality. I said amateur before, but amateur kind of is kind of like, I already know how to do this. I'm just not a professional at it. But novice, I think, is the word. I like being a novice at things. Oh, I am an optimist, sometimes very annoying so. Sometimes when Terry comes home and tells me some of her problems, I'm trying to be like, look, at least you got fucking breath in your lungs, am I right? Some shy. She doesn't want to hear that shit. She just wants me to kind of sit there and validate her feelings by saying, I totally understand that that's pretty fucking shit. And then maybe later on in a morning coffee conversation, I was thinking about what you were saying there. Have you tried this? That's more of an applicable kind of thing to do. But I am an optimist. I kind of do think that things will kind of work out, that they have to work out. I'm not so much of a pessimist for the most part. I try and see the good side in things when I'm in the mood to. Today, not so much. P. I can make pasta. I'm a pasta boy. I am a pasta boy. I can make pasta. I can make a pretty lethal carbonara with actual guanciale and Gran Padano cheese. And I enjoy it. And it's a great joy to, even though you don't have to be good at something, even you just be a novice at something, but I have identified a thing that absolutely just sparks joy where you can get lost in and actually be a little kind of meditative, a bit mindful. Do you know what I'm going to fucking do tonight? I've just decided, right? I'm going to get one of my old Lego sets out and I'm just going to make it and watch some TV. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to look at my phone for the rest of the day. That's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just fucking anxious at the moment and I don't entirely know why. Moving on, Q. I'm going to finish this. I think I'm good at asking people questions. Even if I don't know anything about what someone's career is, I think I can ask enough questions to generate good chat with someone. S, I like to sing. And I like now that my son likes to sing quite a lot, and he sings a lot, and he makes up his own songs. He might just throw in, Mary had a little daddy or whatever, and I think that's great. And I make up songs to him all the time. I make up songs about whatever he's eating, whatever he's doing. I make up songs to kind of get him in the mood for going to his nonas or his grannies, and then I get the seal of approval off him when I finish a song that I've just made up off the top of my head, and then he goes again, like goes full Joaquin Phoenix and Gladiator, and he wants to hear more of the song. So singing also provides a great amount of joy in this family. T, I love tech, and I think I'm good at figuring out bits of tech. Like I'm good. Today I figured out a way of getting, using my iPhone as a camera for OBS streaming software. And I'm like, I was following with my fucking caveman brain, bruv, following a tutorial online, but I did figure it out. I like being the person that my mother-in-law hits up to ask her to download an app. Hits me up, says, how do I download a book on my Kindle? And I'm like, well, you hit the shopping trolley button at the very top of the screen, and then you type in. She goes, whoa, slow down. You're going to have to do it for me. And I don't mind. I don't mind literally just hitting a shopping trolley, typing in the name of the book, and then buying it with my own money, as it turned out. She actually ended up fucking robbing me blind, as it turned out. How do I download this book without using any money? I'll buy it for you. Wow, how did you do that? She actually fucking swindled me, to be honest. So yeah, tech, fiddling around with a bit of tech, I like going into people's gaffs and turning off the motion smoothing on their TV, and they're like, what should I do that for? Or sometimes they have weird accessibility options on their TV where it's all like, you've hit button number 1, you're on channel 2, volume going up, volume going down. And I'm like, do you want me to turn that off for you? And they're like, yeah. How are you going to do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to mess around with the options. And they're like, oh, yeah. This is amazing. And I love that I have a skill that's been based around the reps of just being fucking bored with a remote control as a kid, And now I know how to navigate TVs and turn options on and off and all that kind of stuff. So I like that about me. Okay, you. Well, you, of course, I do love you. And I'm grateful to have you listening on this. But if I have to, use it with a word, I would say I have a decent knowledge of the unexplained. I'd say if we were sitting around a campfire and somebody did a ghost story, I could deliver on that. I also think that if you were chatting to me and you're from like a different country, like if you're from South America somewhere or Asia, I might be able to relate something to you based on a monster that I know lives there, like a mananganal or an aswang from the Philippines. I was chatting to a Filipino girl. She was like, well, how the fuck do you know what a mananganal is? And I'm like, well, I used to do a podcast about it. And she's like, oh, this is so dumb. That's so dumb that you would do that. But so, and it's actually really interesting, the Philippines especially, because of so many islands. They all have a rich history. They're all independent of each other. They have their own gods and deities and all this stuff. And then when the Spanish came in and colonized the whole fucking lot of it, they kind of unified all the islands and then also made all of the gods and deities they had the devil. Like all of them are the devil, and all of them are kind of used as these kind of like, you better not sleep around, you better not steal. All these kind of sins were kind of personified in their former gods and made to be devils. So they have so many fucking monsters in the Philippines. So I like the fact that I know a little bit about the unexplained and Filipino monsters. Moving on, V. Look, I'm actually good at voiceovers. I know you hear me do voiceovers a lot, but I'm actually good at voiceovers. Like the end product, it normally hasn't been a huge hurdle to get there. We normally, if I go in to do a voiceover, I'll probably just warm up and then I'll give a few options and then normally we're there. I'm not saying I'm one take. No one's ever one take. There's always some for safety. But if you've booked an hour for a voiceover, if you've booked 2 hours for a voiceover, and it's like a radio TV thing, it's only going to be half an hour. As long as what's written on the page is what you need to be delivered, then we should not be going over half an hour. That is just, I am very good at voiceovers. I've gotten all shy now, I've crossed my arms there, because I actually am good at voiceovers. Now I now I feel like I don't like myself and self-indulgent at the same time. This hasn't worked at all. Look, I'm going to finish just for the sake of this. Writing is my W, okay? I like writing, and I think my writing's getting better. Beforehand, I wasn't able to actually write sketches on a page. I had to say everything out loud because I couldn't think that way. But now I've kind of trained myself a little bit better that I can write an entire sketch on the page, exactly word for word how it's going to be, and then do that. And I'm happy that I'm progressing in that skill. I'm actually good at writing erotic fiction as well. Why? I'm young. I have that going for me. There's really nothing that I want to excel at that I'm too old to do, and that's a very fortunate thing to be in. I'm not a gymnast. I'm a comedian, which is very lucky for me. And I sleep really well. So there you are. Look, I'm going to be in a much better mood the next pod. And also, I'll be in fucking flying form if you come see me at the Workman's on the 12th of October. That is Wednesday, the 12th of October. Guests will be announced on my Instagram today. Very excited about that. And in Cork on the 20th of October, Cypress Avenue. Tickets available in the notes on this podcast here. This happens sometimes, guys. It's nothing on you. It's just me. Love you lots. All the best. Bye-bye.